Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Nerf Ultra Strike. This blaster came out in 2022, and it's part of the Nerf Ultra line. So with that all the way, let's get started by talking about the box. Start off with the front of the box, we have this graphic of the Ultra Strike, as well as some information about the blaster. Starting off with the information that this blaster is motorized. It includes 10 Ultra Darts. These are the AccuStrike Ultra Darts, which are the most accurate Nerf Ultra Dart. This blaster requires 6 AAs because it's motorized. This blaster is also ages 8+ and plastic-free packaging. Moving on to the back of the box, we have more information about the blaster. Starting off with the stock, which we have a magazine storage, they call it clip storage, a magazine. It has an integrated sight, again we see motorized, and a removable 10 dart clip, magazine. And also this blaster is patent pending, or at least the darts are. For those who don't know, Nerf actually patented the Ultra Darts, so that's why we don't really see third-party usage or even third-party Ultra Darts. So with that out of the way, let's get this thing out of the box. I lost my scissors, so I have to use my X-Acto knife. Alright, so here we have the Ultra Strike out of the box. And we actually have instructions for this blaster. It tells you all the features of the blaster, how to load the batteries, how to load the magazine, how to assemble the blaster, how to clear jams. Very simple single sheet instructions. And now we move on to our darts. These are the AccuStrike Ultra Darts. They have a silver body with a red tip, and the blaster itself, which as you can see, we need to assemble. It appears to be one-time assembly. So I guess you just slot this in here like so, locks into place, and makes it so the Ultra Strike doesn't really fit on camera unless I zoom out a little more. And here's our magazine. This, by the way, is a completely different magazine than the one that came with the Ultra Speed. For those who haven't seen the video, I did a review on the Ultra Speed, and as you can see, they're completely different magazines. And the magazine will not fit in the Strike here. They look very similar to standard Nerf magazines. Even the magazine well looks very similar to standard Nerf magazines, but this blaster will not fit standard Nerf magazines that I've already tried. And while we're on the topic of magazines, let's check out this magazine storage back here. Magazine just slots in there. It's actually pretty easy. That's actually probably the nicest magazine storage I've ever seen on a blaster. The blaster has a couple of tactical rails. So on the bottom of the barrel we have one rail here, which I guess we could attach a foregrip. It's actually quite a nice sturdy rail here. And we have two top ones. One back here and one in the front. So we can attach a scope up front or a scope in the back. That actually lines up pretty nicely. But if you don't want a scope, you do have this flip up integrated sight. It's actually not much of a sight picture, so you're probably better off using a scope or something. Also, you can't actually see the front sight when shouldering this because it's so far down. Yeah, it's a little strange. If you don't want a foregrip, you do have this place to grab the blaster up here, so that's pretty nice. Controls, rev trigger, and main trigger. I'm guessing there's a magazine lock. And yeah, it is semi-automatic, and this is your magazine release, which isn't half bad. I think that's a pretty nice magazine release. Now let's actually get some batteries in this blaster. Here we have some Kirkland Signature AA's. I swear I'm not sponsored by Costco. Here we have the battery compartment. Very simple battery compartment here. There we go. 6 AA's, as mentioned before. Okay, it appears not to have a magazine lock. Does it have a jam door lock? There is no jam door lock. All right, let's get this blaster loaded up with some darts. This magazine can hold 10 Ultra Darts. There we go. We have our 10 darts set up. Load them into the blaster. All right, seems to be pretty crisp shooting, I will say. I guess we'll take it out of the range and see how it fares. All right, so here we are at the range test. And for context, the chicken marks 25 feet, the swan marks 35 feet, the frog marks 40 feet, and the far back wall marks 50 feet from where I am standing. So I actually did go out and buy some standard ultra darts, which we're gonna be trying out first before checking out the ranges with the AccuStrike darts. So we're gonna fire 10 shots each. We are out. So it appeared to be getting those 40-foot ranges, which seems to be pretty nice. And now we gotta have the tedious task of loading the AccuStrike Ultra Darts, because this thing only comes with one magazine and is compatible with the magazine it came with, and only the magazine it came with. I'm not sure if the Ultra Speeds magazine is the unique one, and this thing's compatible with the other ones, the ones that came with the, I think it's called the Ultra Amp and the Ultra Ferro. Those both came with magazines. But anyway, we're gonna be loaded up with 10 shots of AccuStrike. So to recap, standard ultra was going a little bit further, but not as straight. About 40-foot mark, I'll give an approximation. Of course, the first couple were landing around the 30-foot mark, or 35-foot mark. So there is that. AccuStrike was flying a little slower, a little shorter, right between the swan and frog, around 37. I actually don't know what I'm going to record after this. Maybe I'll quickly record the accuracy test here. Clouds are rolling in quick, so I gotta figure this out. Also, my backyard does not have good drainage, so it's very slippery on the ground. Let's move on to the next section. All right, so here we are at the speed test. We're gonna be starting off with Nerf Elite. It's gonna be 10 shots each. Next dart is the AccuStrike darts. All right, let's check out the data. Starting off with the standard ultra darts, we had an average of 95.5 with a minimum of 87, a maximum of 104. For AccuStrike, we had an average of 94.5, a minimum of 87, and a maximum of 101. AccuStrike is slightly slower. It wasn't breaking 100 that often. In fact, it only broke 100 once, but it was mostly in the 90s. It's just the way the AccuStrike darts are made. They're designed similarly to the Dart Zone and Adventure Force ones are. They don't have that rounded tip. They have the squared off tip, so they fly straighter, which they do fly straighter, as we saw in the range test. And I don't know how accurate they're gonna be because I haven't done the accuracy test yet. So I guess we can move on to that. All right, so here we are at the accuracy test. And yes, it looks a little different because we're doing it inside. About approximately the same distance away. Actually, it might be a little bit closer than what we normally see, so accuracy might be skewed just a little bit. Yeah, it's not gonna be perfect. These tests aren't perfect anyway. Anyway, we're gonna be starting off with the standard ultra darts. Oh, got one. Like that. Honestly, I thought the standard ultra darts accuracy was gonna go, like, they're gonna start going off to the side a little bit later, but apparently right out of the barrel they curve off to the left here. Maybe these accuracy results won't be completely skewed. Anyway, let's move on to the next dart. All right, let's move on to the AccuStrike ultra darts. They are much more accurate. Yeah, had to line up the sights a little bit, the lack of sights. Oh yeah, which I completely forgot because we haven't done the accuracy test yet. That is your sight picture. That's with it up, and not much of anything with it down. Front sight is kind of non-existent. Fairly accurate with AccuStrike Ultra Darts. It's kind of weird saying it here, but let's move on to my final thoughts. All right, so what are my final thoughts on the Ultra Strike? But before we do that, as usual, we need to go over where I bought it and how much I spent. So this is kind of a strange thing here, because I actually don't remember how much I spent on this blaster. I do remember buying this blaster on sale. Not sure exactly how much I spent, but I do remember buying it at Target. But the price that appears online a lot is, I think its original retail price of $44.99 USD. But it appears at other places like Target and Amazon, that price has gone a little bit down. I think Target's selling it for around $30. And then Amazon, I think, is selling it for just around $40 or $35 or something like that. So with pricing out of the way, let's move on to the blaster itself. Starting with aesthetics, I think the Ultra Strike looks pretty cool. It has a very like sci-fi sniper rifle look to it, maybe a laser rifle. Colors are nice, black and white with red accents. Very nice. Ergonomically, the blaster overall is pretty comfortable to hold. Stock's pretty comfortable, grip's comfortable. Front grip here is also comfortable, bounces quite well at this point. Controls, rev trigger is pretty nice. Main trigger is also nice. Magazine release, even though it is a little squishy, still functions quite well. Overall, a very comfortable blaster. Also, a little bonus here for ergonomics. The magazine storage is very nice. This is probably the easiest, smoothest magazine storage I've seen on a blaster. Overall, very nice there. Build quality wise, the Ultra Strike is very sturdy. This blaster it's very sturdy. Even its barrel doesn't flex too much. The sight, even though it's made of a kind of rubbery plastic, doesn't feel like it will break. I will say the only thing that feels a little cheaped out is the jam door. You know, it's a jam door, just supposed to keep your fingers from going into the flywheels and getting dirt and stuff in there. But overall, just very, very nice build quality. Even this magazine feels really sturdy as well. But yeah, this very well built blaster. Though, notice this right now, the magazine holder part of the stock does feel a little squishy. That actually feels really squishy. It kind of cheaped out on this part of the stock, but the main part of the stock is still solid, so it shouldn't be a problem. Build quality, I give it a thumbs up for that. Compatibility wise, this blaster has pretty good rails. There's actually very nice rails. They fit on my accessories that I tested on them pretty well. Magazine wise, I can't really test compatibility with, because the only other Ultra blaster that's magazine fed that I have was the Ultra Speed, and this is its magazine versus what comes with the Strike. After doing research, I think I found that the Ultra Speed magazine is proprietary, and this is the standard Ultra magazine. Dart-wise, on the other hand, I'm only missing one type of Ultra dart, which are the blue tip screamer darts. I think they're called screamer darts. They're whistling darts. They have a little whistle on them. When they fly through there, they whistle. I think that was the second dart Nerf introduced into the Ultra line. From what I've heard, people were saying that those were a lot more accurate than the standard Ultra darts. Then AccuStrike came out, and then those were better than the whistlers. But from the other two darts I had, this blaster hasn't jammed. This blaster has pretty much accepted both types pretty well, so no problems here. And of course, that brings us to reliability. This blaster hasn't failed on me yet. Like I said, it hasn't had jams. Seems to be pretty solid internally as well as externally. All right, so let's move on to value. What are you getting for your $44.99 USD? So the blaster itself isn't really the problem here. It's the ammo. I'm gonna pull up some numbers real quick. To get a refill pack of 20 standard Ultra darts, it is $11.99 USD. That's only 2 magazines worth of, well, at least with this blaster, 2 magazines worth of darts for $12. And AccuStrike is $8.49. That's sold at Target. I'm not sure what its original retail price was. Oh yeah, their original retail price was also $11.99 for a 20 pack as well. You're not getting a lot for $12, and this blaster only accepts Ultra darts. So after doing some quick calculations here, Ultra darts are approximately 60 cents each. So yeah, those are very, very expensive darts. That definitely is a problem when it comes to, on a consumer side of things, it's a problem in my opinion. So would I overall recommend the Ultra Strike? I mean, like, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but my opinion on this blaster is very mixed. But would I overall recommend the Ultra Strike? I don't know if I stated this before, but my opinions on the Ultra Strike are very mixed. And a majority of the negative opinion of the blaster comes from the ammo. This ammo is very expensive. Like I said before, it's about 60 cents per dart. If you're buying it for its $12 or $11.99 retail price, maybe give or take 60 cents, about 60 cents. But at some places like Target, where they're selling them for I think $6, you can get them on sale at several places, buy them in higher quantities. I think Amazon sells them for even cheaper. It definitely becomes more accessible, but it's still a lot for a small pack of darts, a 20 pack of darts. I have so much positive to say about this blaster. This blaster is a really nice blaster, bunch of good qualities with it. This is its Achilles heel, its weakness. And this is what a lot of Ultra blasters, in my opinion, suffer from. They're somewhat pretty good. And I mean, the Ultra had a rough start, but they seem to be pretty nice blasters. It's just that. Also, its original retail price is a little steep in my opinion. If you are looking to buy this blaster, I think this is a pretty nice Ultra blaster. So if you do want to get into Ultra, I would recommend the Strike, but on sale. Yeah, and then the darts, sales are the thing that fix this blaster. That's what I'll say. Sales fix the blaster's problems. That's all I have to say about the blaster. So this will be the end of the review. Comment your thoughts about the blaster down below. Comment what else you want to see on the channel. Be sure to check out my review on the Nerf Ultra Speed, another Ultra blaster. In fact, that's the only other Ultra blaster I reviewed on the channel. Be sure to check out my other reviews. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.